That full, bloated feeling you get after eating. It might not be what you ate, but what you mixed together. You're not alone. So many adults over 60 feel uncomfortable after meals they used to handle just fine. The kind of meals that feel healthy on paper, fiber-rich, protein-packed, but leave you feeling heavy, sluggish, or gassy for hours. Here's the surprising part. Even healthy foods can cause gut trouble if you pair the wrong ones together. As we age, our digestive system changes. It slows down. It becomes more sensitive. And that means the way we combine our meals matters more than ever. If you're dealing with gas after lunch, bloating after dinner, or you just don't feel right after eating, this might be the reason. Let's pause here. Think about your last balanced meal. Maybe it had beans for fiber, cheese for protein, a little something cold to drink. You felt full, sure. But then came the discomfort. And maybe you brushed it off. I'm just getting older. It's just the beans. But what if it's not just one ingredient? What if it's the combination that's slowing your gut down? After 60, digestion doesn't work the way it used to. There's less stomach acid, fewer enzymes, slower gut movement. And your body, which has worked hard for decades, is simply asking for a different approach. A gentler one, a smarter one. A way of eating that doesn't overload your system and leave you feeling worse after a meal that was supposed to help you feel better. So today, we're talking about one of the most common and most misunderstood food combinations in the senior diet: beans and cheese. Sounds harmless, right? But once we look at what happens inside your body when these two foods hit your stomach at the same time, it'll make a lot more sense why meals that used to feel hearty now feel heavy. If you're tired of bloating, tired of feeling uncomfortable after eating healthy meals, if you want to give your gut a break and feel lighter, clearer, and more at ease, you're in the right place. Let's break this down, piece by piece. Not to scare you, but to support you. Because when your digestion works better, everything works better. And it all starts with knowing what not to combine on your plate. It's a classic. Beans and cheese. You've probably had it 100 times. Maybe you made it last week. Chili with cheddar. A warm burrito with refried beans and melted cheese. A black bean soup with a creamy swirl on top. Simple, familiar, satisfying. But here's the thing. After 60, that combo might not love you back the way it used to. It might leave you bloated, tired, even backed up for a day or two. And it's not because beans are bad. It's not because cheese is dangerous. It's because, together, they're simply too much for an aging digestive system to handle all at once. Let's talk about what's really going on in your gut when these two come together. Beans are full of fiber, soluble, insoluble, the kind that keeps you regular. They've got resistant starch, plant protein, and a natural tendency to ferment if they sit too long in your digestive system. Now, fermentation isn't always a bad thing. But when your gut is slower, and it is slower after 60, fermentation can get ahead of digestion. And that's where the trouble starts. Gas, bloating, cramping, that heavy feeling that lingers long after the meal is done. Then we add cheese, rich, satisfying, full of saturated fat, and slow-digesting dairy proteins like casein, also loaded with lactose, which many of us become more sensitive to with age, even if it never used to bother us before. So now your gut is trying to break down fiber, starch, fat, protein, and sugar, all at once. And instead of getting processed smoothly, that food just sits. It slows down. It gets stuck. And while it sits there, it ferments. It hardens. It feeds the wrong bacteria. And suddenly, a comforting meal turns into gas, bloating, or a sluggish bathroom trip the next morning. And if you're thinking, but I've always eaten beans and cheese together, that's true. But back then, your stomach acid was stronger. Your enzyme production was faster. Your gut motility was more efficient. Now, your digestion needs a little more kindness. It needs a little more space between the ingredients you pile into one dish. So here's the simple truth. It's not that you can't have beans. It's not that you can't have cheese. It's that your gut might not want them at the same time anymore. And that small change, separating these two by a few hours, or simplifying your meals, can make a big difference. Less bloating, more regularity, and that feeling of being comfortable after a meal again. Instead of feeling stuffed, swollen, or gassy, that's the power of eating with your gut, not just your habits. In the next part, we'll look at a few more everyday food combinations that overwhelm digestion in ways most people never notice. You'll probably recognize at least one from your daily routine, but now you'll understand how to shift it, so your meals feel better and your body works better too. It's easy to overlook how certain foods interact once they hit your stomach. You might think, well, I've eaten these things for years. I'm just getting older. But what if some of your most common food pairings are quietly making your digestion worse? After 60, your body isn't as forgiving. Even small mismatches can lead to bloating, discomfort, or that lingering heavy feeling that follows you through the day. Let's talk through a few food combinations that show up in everyday meals, and why they might not be working for you anymore. The first one catches a lot of people off guard. Fruit and protein. It sounds harmless, maybe even healthy. Grilled chicken and pineapple. Ham and melon. Eggs and orange juice. A fruit cup with your lunch. The problem is timing. Fruit digests quickly. Protein takes hours. So when you eat them together, the fruit ends up sitting behind the protein in your stomach, waiting its turn. And while it waits, it starts to ferment. That fermentation creates gas, bloating, and sometimes even cramping. What can you do instead? Eat fruit first. Give it a little space. Let it digest on its own. Even a 30-minute window can make a big difference. The second combo is another one that looks healthy on the surface. Yogurt and fruit. A classic breakfast. A go-to for people trying to eat clean. But most store-bought yogurts are already packed with added sugars. Add fruit on top, especially acidic or watery fruits like berries or pineapple. And now you've got a mix of sugar, dairy, and acidity. Not ideal for older digestion. Dairy already takes longer to break down. Lactose becomes harder to tolerate over time. And the sugar feeds bacteria in ways that can disrupt your gut balance. So if you love yogurt, try having it plain. Or mix it with a sprinkle of cinnamon or a spoonful of ground flax. Save the fruit for later. Or eat it first, before the dairy. It's not about giving up the foods you enjoy. It's about giving your body a chance to handle them properly, one at a time. The third one might seem strange, but it matters. Cold drinks with hot meals. Think about how often this happens. A glass of cold water or iced tea with lunch. An ice-filled drink next to a warm plate of food. It seems refreshing. But cold drinks during meals can slow down digestion. They tighten the muscles in your stomach. They reduce the release of digestive enzymes. And they can make it harder to break down fats. Your gut works best at a stable temperature. Introducing something icy mid-meal creates a kind of shock to the system. Instead, try room temperature water or a warm herbal tea. It keeps your digestive rhythm steady. And many people notice they feel better, even lighter, just by changing the temperature of their drink. These combinations might not seem dramatic, but they can quietly wear down your gut over time. It's not about following strict food rules. It's about awareness. You're not just feeding your hunger anymore. You're feeding your body. And it's telling you what it can and can't handle. The older you get, the more your gut appreciates simple pairings. Meals that are easier to break down. Flavors that don't compete. Foods that don't sit and ferment for hours while your body tries to catch up. And when you start to notice the difference, less bloating, better energy, more comfort after meals, it gets easier to make these shifts part of your routine. In the final part of this video, we'll go over what to do instead. How to eat in a way that supports your digestion, not fights against it. You'll get practical ideas, smarter pairings, and habits that help your body feel more at ease. Meal after meal. You've made it this far, and by now, you might be thinking, okay, I know what not to do. But what should I do instead? Here's the good news. Eating for better digestion doesn't mean giving up the foods you love. It just means giving your gut a little more space to do its job, without overload. And that starts with something simple. Pair fewer foods together. When you keep meals simple, 2 or maybe 3 elements on a plate, your body doesn't have to juggle so much at once. Instead of fighting to break down fat, fiber, fruit, and protein all in one meal, your gut gets to focus. And that helps everything move a little more smoothly. So let's take a look at what smarter food combining actually looks like. Start with meals that are built on balance, but without crowding. For example, instead of a big bowl of bean chili with cheese and chips, try lentils with cooked vegetables and a drizzle of olive oil. Still warm, still filling, just easier to process. Instead of fruit and eggs for breakfast, have fruit by itself. Wait a little. Then enjoy the eggs on their own with something simple, like spinach or cooked tomato. Instead of yogurt topped with sugary fruit and granola, try plain yogurt with a pinch of cinnamon and a spoonful of ground flax. Still creamy, still satisfying, but without the sugar overload. None of this has to be complicated. You don't need to memorize charts or follow strict rules. You just need to listen to your body and give it less to fight through in every bite. And it's not just what's on your plate. It's how you eat. Slowing down helps. Chewing more helps. A short walk after meals? That helps too. Give your body time between meals. 4 or 5 hours when you can. Let your digestion finish before you start the next round. It's one of the simplest ways to reduce bloating and improve regularity. And when it comes to drinks, sip warm tea. Avoid cold beverages with meals, especially iced drinks. Your digestive system works best when it's not being shocked by temperature swings. Gentle warmth encourages everything to move, from enzymes to gut motility. And if you really want to support your digestion long-term, cut back on the food layering. That means fewer casseroles, fewer everything on one plate dinners, fewer meals with 5 or 6 different types of food fighting for space. Instead, choose meals where the foods digest at a similar pace. Soft cooked vegetables and rice, grilled fish and greens, soup with lentils and herbs. Not fancy, not restrictive, just easier to handle. Because after 60, digestion doesn't need intensity. It needs rhythm. It needs kindness. And when you start eating in a way that respects that, your body lets you know. Less gas, less bloating, more comfort after meals, better energy throughout the day. And for a lot of people, better sleep at night too. You're not broken. Your body is just slower now. That's not a weakness. It's wisdom. It's your body saying, "Feed me gently, and I'll take care of you in return." So the next time you feel bloated after what seemed like a healthy meal, take a look at the combinations and start making swaps that work with your digestion, not against it. Because when your gut feels better, you feel better. That's the kind of small shift that leads to a big difference, not just in your meals, but in how you move through your day. And you deserve that ease, every single day.